everybody, and what is up? Welcome back to another video. I'm sorry if I haven't filmed in a while. I hurt my finger playing basketball, but it's better now, so I'm able to get back to filming. Today, I will be reacting to the top 10 worst decisions made by Disney villains. Now, before I start, remember to like, subscribe, and comment below how you think the Disney movies would have been different if the villains actually made the right decisions. Now, without further ado, let's get started.
Sometimes they're their own worst enemies. Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst decisions by Disney villains. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll talk about the times the bad guys actually made life easier for the good guys in Disney and Pixar animated films. Number 10, Butterfingers, Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, we all have Butterfingers.
My, what a fall, Gaston. Wait, that isn't how the song goes. He may be capable of a lot, but apparently having a strong grip isn't one of Gaston's many abilities.
He was hanging in the rain.
Gaston is scaling the side of the castle in the rain, and only holding on with one hand. After a skirmish, he slips right off the castle, and that's the end of it.
If you look closely, you can actually see skulls in his eyes.
It's, of course, a convenient plot device that lets the Beast remain innocent by sparing Gaston's life, while still giving the villain an ending he deserves.
They actually changed it in the live-action version. Instead of having him slip from the castle, they had the surface he was standing on collapse. Comment below which defeat you like better.
Number 9, Tormenting Toys.
That was the main plot of the movie.
Even though you wouldn't expect your toys to come alive and seek vengeance, torture is never a good idea. You see, Sid loved to torment his toys. He would burn them and try to launch them into space. But his favorite mode of torture was creating Frankendolls by ripping them apart and putting them together in sinister ways. Hannah! Jeannie's all better now. Woody rallied Sid's victims to save Buzz, turning them against their creator.
We toys can see everything.
And he was the garbage man in the third movie.
Almost excusable, since he didn't know the toys were alive. But Lotso in Toy Story 3 was a toy himself.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
That psychopath left the toys to die, but the gang escapes and gets justice. Number 8, Unguarded Cauldron, the Black Cauldron. The Horned King is one of the scariest of all the Disney villains, but he sure isn't the smartest. His entire plan for world domination revolves around the Black Cauldron, which creates an undead army. The Horned King works hard looking for the thing, even using a pig to find it. But once he finally gets it, he leaves it totally unguarded. It's not like he didn't have the...
You shouldn't leave your things. This is why you shouldn't leave your things unattended, guys. Let this be your lesson.
Stop the cauldron, instantly killing the army and putting an end to the Horned King. Number 7, Cutting the Vines, Tarzan. When you're hanging by a thread, or a vine in this case, it's not a good idea to cut your only lifeline, especially when there is another vine wrapped around your neck.
If you look closely, you can actually see his body.
Clayton shows a disdain for the animals of the jungle throughout Tarzan, but in the end, he proves himself to have much less humanity than they do. To defeat him, Tarzan doesn't even need to get blood on his hands, since Clayton unintentionally...
They can't show blood in kids' movies.
One of the more graphic villain deaths in the Disney canon.
Yup. They can't show blood, but they get away with showing his body. That's how they got separated.
Ratcliffe. This villain is obsessed with gold and will stop at nothing to get it.
My rivals that gold. It's not that I'm bitter, but think how they squirm when they see how I glitter.
He thinks the natives are hiding treasure in the New World, so he decides they need to die. His men weren't necessarily on board with the whole mass murder thing, but they rally together when John Smith is sentenced to death by Chief Powhatan.
And worse, barely even human.
Luckily, Pocahontas stopped the impending battle, but Ratcliffe decided to fire anyway and shot John.
I will settle this myself. No!
Whether he was aiming at John is irrelevant, since John was the only reason his men went to war in the first place. He would have been better off literally shooting himself in the foot. Number 5. Not changing Rapunzel's birthday.
Now, I think that was one of the worst decisions ever made in any movie. Every time I watch this, I always question why she didn't do that. Comment below if Rapunzel still would have found out about her past if Mother Gothel would have changed her birthday.
Kidnapping a princess? Then you better put some thought
Because
into your plan. When Mother Gothel took
I'm
Rapunzel
sure she still would have anyway.
to a hidden tower in the middle of nowhere. But it seems common sense stopped there, because she kept Rapunzel's original birthday, instead of changing it to literally anything else.
And I can't help but feel like they're meant for me.
You know, the same day thousands of lanterns are released in honor of a missing princess.
You mean the lantern thing they do for the princess?
Lantern. I knew they weren't stars.
The connection between the lanterns and her birthday lead Rapunzel to the truth, and ultimately to Gothel's downfall.
It's Huggies, and we're obsessed with your super soft skin, just like everyone.
Mrs. Lawrence. So are we ready to finance this meeting?
Don't say the F word around my kid.
Finance?
Number 4. Big Mouth. Monsters, Inc.
Ooh, now that's a terrible decision made by various villains in various movies.
Can't pass up an opportunity to brag.
It's not just in that one.
Scaring isn't enough anymore. What, kidnapping children? I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die, and I'll silence anyone who gets in my way.
Mr. Waternoose makes the
In
mistake of revealing
in Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, the
power plant.
Harry and Marv discuss their plans in front of Kevin.
So his brilliant idea is to kidnap children to harvest their screams.
If you're going to be evil, don't discuss your plans in front of the good guy.
While being unknowingly recorded, and is promptly arrested. Mayor Bellwether makes a similar mistake in Zootopia.
Yep. They are talking about similar villains who made similar mistakes in movies.
Will villains ever learn?
I wonder.
Actually, adults aren't every predator in Zootopia to keep it that way.
It's your word against yours. It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
Number 3. Trusting hyenas. The Lion King.
Ooh,
Scar is
another
a
bad
one.
decision.
Psychotic, maybe, but smart.
Well,
For whatever
the main thing was them getting mad at him when he blamed them for blaming he blamed them for wanting to take over Pride Rock.
aren't very bright, and Scar himself has noted
Of
this
course,
reputation.
before that, he asked them to kill Simba, and they don't do that.
I mean, you're one of us.
Yet he trusts them to kill Simba as a cub, which they don't do, and he trusts them not to turn on him, which they actually do. When going through a plan to kill your brother with the possibility of angering a pride of lions, it's important to remember that if you want something done right, you better do it yourself. Number 2. Wearing a cape.
How is that not number one?
Yes, look, the cape and the boots. No capes.
Comment below if you think Edna designed that super suit. She doesn't design
When you're in the middle of fighting for your life,
suits with
it can be
capes.
extremely impractical. Capes have taken the lives of superheroes and villains alike.
Obviously, there's no way she would have designed that suit for him if it has a cape.
This is why Edna Mode has one rule when designing super suits. No capes.
Flashdown sucked into a vortex.
able to build giant superhero-killing robots, but when it comes to fashion, he's clueless. He foolishly adds a cape to his super suit.
He is. He's a genius at everything except his super suit.
And he wonders why Mr. Incredible didn't want to partner with him.
Because he didn't have superpowers.
Here are a few dishonorable mentions.
But she froze your heart.
The only frozen heart
Tricking Anna.
is yours.
He was one of the first twist villains in Disney. Well, the very first one. King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph started that trend because we didn't know he was Turbo. But that was part of his plan.
Another one of your old birds.
Provoking birds? Another thing I thought should have been number 1. I mean, it does make sense as that was part of the plan. I mean, he thought there, to his credit, he thought there were girls in there because they were trying to trick him. But only 3 Pixar villains died. Hopper, Syndrome, and Charles Muntz, with Charles Muntz being the only one to have the classic Disney falling to their death, even though Disney owns Pixar.
Are there a bunch of little girls in this one too? Hello, girls!
Number 1, becoming a
Oh, now that's number 1.
well-laid plan comes
Now
together.
that makes sense.
For this Grand Vizier, this did not happen.
A fate worse than death. Well, at the end of the first one.
Jafar had everyone
For those of you who have seen the sequel, that the genie is what led to the death of him at the end of Return of Jafar, because apparently in that universe, if you destroy Genie's lamps, that's how they die.
Second best!
A genie may have phenomenal cosmic power, but it also comes with an itty-bitty living space.
Phenomenal cosmic powers! Come on, you're the genie!
Itty bitty living space. Hell, you little genius, you.
Good job, Jafar. You let your enemy convince you to enslave yourself. He really should have known better, considering his extensive knowledge of arcane lore. Do you agree with our picks? Check.
Okay, that is the end of my video. But before I end mine, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!